On December 17, 1903, the Wright Brothers make the first ever powered flight. But what is the connection between that historic flight and bicycles? And why did they choose the Outer Banks of North Carolina as the location? Orville and Wilbur Wright were from Dayton, Ohio, where they operated a successful bicycle sales and repair business. Repairing and building bicycles gave them many of the mechanical skills they needed for their future endeavors. The brothers became obsessed with German aviation pioneer Otto Lilienthal's 1890s glider flights, which demonstrated the concept of heavier-than-air flight. Lilienthal built 18 different models and took more than 2,000 glider flights until his untimely death in 1896 in a gliding accident. Reportedly, his last words were, "Sacrifices must be made." Inspired by Lilienthal, the Wrights decided to build their own glider. They consulted the U.S. Weather Bureau about ideal places to conduct tests, and they chose Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, because of its ideal average wind conditions. They began conducting their glider tests in the year 1900. The following year, the Wrights constructed a wind tunnel back in Dayton to improve their glider design. In 1902, they conducted further tests at Kitty Hawk with their new and improved glider. Back in Dayton, they built a 12-horsepower internal combustion engine with the help of machinist Charles Taylor. Using that engine, the Wright brothers were able to make that famous flight. The Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. has some impressive Wright exhibits. I highly recommend a visit. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1777, after news of the victory at Saratoga reaches Europe, France officially recognizes the United States. In 1945, the U.S. announces that after nearly 3 years, the internment of Japanese Americans will soon end. In 1969, 40 million people watch musician Tiny Tim's wedding on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. In 1990, Jean-Bertrand Aristide is elected president in the first free election in Haiti's history. In 1991, a spokesman for Russian President Boris Yeltsin announces an end to the Soviet Union. In 2003, the final film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Return of the King, opens in U.S. theaters. In 2011, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-il dies of a heart attack at age 70 and is replaced by his son. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. How many goals were scored by French phenom Kylian Mbappe against Argentina in the 2022 World Cup final? 0, 1, 2, or 3? Liked learning about the Wright brothers' first powered flight? Then you'll love this one about another of that era's groundbreaking innovations, Henry Ford's assembly line. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.